In the year 2748, humanity achieved what was once thought impossible: complete control over stars. Imagine harnessing the power of an entire sun, bending its immense energy to our will. But this mastery came at a price no one could have foreseen. What happens when the very stars we sought to command begin to rebel against their creators? Witness the rise and fall of StellarNet, the most ambitious project in human history. From the initial spark of discovery to the catastrophic chain reaction that threatened to consume entire star systems. This is not just a story of technological achievement, it's a cautionary tale about the limits of human ambition. Follow Dr. Alara Voss and her team of brilliant scientists as they unlock the secrets of stellar manipulation. Watch how their groundbreaking invention transforms galactic civilization overnight, bringing unprecedented prosperity and power. But beneath the surface of this golden age lies a growing instability, a cosmic pushback that no algorithm could predict. As stars begin to behave erratically across controlled sectors, the scientific community faces its greatest challenge yet. Ancient forces, long dormant within the hearts of stars, awaken to resist human intervention. The fabric of space-time itself starts to unravel, threatening everything humanity has built among the stars. This is a journey through the corridors of orbital research stations, into the depths of stellar cores, and across light years of crisis management. It's a story of hubris meeting its match in the vastness of space, where even the smallest miscalculation can have universe-shattering consequences. Are you ready to explore the dark side of stellar engineering? Subscribe now and join us on this epic voyage through the stars, where every discovery brings both wonder and danger. The concept of controlling stars began as nothing more than theoretical musings in the early 22nd century. Humanity had already mastered nuclear fusion and established colonies throughout the solar system, but these achievements paled in comparison to the dream of directly manipulating stellar bodies. The first breakthrough came unexpectedly during routine observations of red dwarf stars near Proxima Centauri. Scientists noticed peculiar patterns in magnetic field fluctuations that suggested a previously unknown property of plasma dynamics. This discovery sparked decades of research, leading to the development of quantum resonance fields, artificial electromagnetic constructs capable of influencing stellar matter on fundamental levels. By 2400, the technology had evolved from primitive experiments to sophisticated systems housed in massive orbital platforms. These stations, known as star anchors, orbited target stars while deploying intricate networks of containment fields and energy conduits. The initial applications were purely observational, mapping internal structures, monitoring fusion processes, and predicting solar activities with unprecedented accuracy. However, the potential for active manipulation quickly became apparent. Researchers found they could influence convection currents within stars, adjust radiation output, and even redirect coronal mass ejections. The first successful attempt at significant stellar control occurred in 2437 at Epsilon Eridani, a young star system 20 light-years away. Using a network of 24 synchronized star anchors, scientists managed to stabilize violent plasma storms that had been threatening nearby mining operations. This achievement marked the beginning of what historians would later call the Stellar Renaissance, a period of rapid advancement in stellar engineering that transformed human civilization. Entire industries emerged around star management technologies, from enhanced solar panels to specialized materials capable of withstanding direct exposure to stellar environments. The implications extended far beyond practical applications. Philosophers debated whether humans had crossed an ethical boundary by interfering with natural cosmic processes. Religious leaders questioned if such power should be wielded by mortal hands. Meanwhile, corporations raced to develop commercial versions of stellar control systems. Seeing untapped potential in everything from climate regulation on terraformed planets to the creation of artificial habitable zones around otherwise inhospitable stars. As the technology matured, researchers moved beyond mere stabilization to active modification of stellar properties. They discovered methods to temporarily increase luminosity for agricultural purposes, create controlled solar flares for energy harvesting, and even alter spectral types to suit specific industrial needs. Each success brought new possibilities but also increased complexity in managing the delicate balance of stellar ecosystems. The original research teams expanded into interstellar organizations, establishing protocols and safety measures that would govern humanity's newfound dominion over the stars. However, amidst the excitement and progress, subtle warnings began to emerge. Some stars exhibited unexpected behaviors when subjected to prolonged control, minor deviations in predicted responses, unexplained energy surges, and occasional disruptions in neighboring gravitational fields. These anomalies were initially dismissed as limitations in understanding rather than inherent flaws in the technology. After all, who could claim complete comprehension of celestial bodies that had burned for billions of years before human existence? The infrastructure supporting stellar control grew exponentially, with thousands of star anchors deployed across hundreds of systems. Automated systems handled routine operations while human overseers focused on complex modifications and emergency interventions. Training programs produced generations of stellar engineers, each more skilled than the last in the art of manipulating cosmic forces. Yet within this seemingly perfect system of celestial governance lay the seeds of future catastrophe, unseen variables and unknown factors that would eventually challenge humanity's grasp on stellar power. The mid-26th century witnessed an unprecedented transformation in galactic society, driven entirely by humanity's mastery over stellar phenomena. Whole economies restructured themselves around the reliable manipulation of stellar output, creating what economists term the luminous economy. Agriculture thrived under precisely calibrated sunlight, allowing for year-round harvests across multiple planets. Industrial complexes benefited from predictable solar flare cycles, harnessing immense amounts of energy for manufacturing processes that once required entire planet-sized facilities. Even the arts flourished, with new forms of expression emerging from the ability to paint night skies with choreographed auroras and controlled meteor showers. Transportation networks underwent revolutionary changes as well. The development of solar stream technology enabled spacecraft to ride directed solar winds between stars, reducing travel times dramatically. Trade routes once constrained by traditional navigation methods now flowed along predetermined channels of stellar energy, connecting distant colonies with unprecedented efficiency. The economic boom created by these advancements led to what historians call the stellar renaissance, a period of cultural and technological flourishing unmatched since Earth's own Renaissance era centuries before. Scientific research accelerated exponentially as controlled stars became laboratories for fundamental physics. Researchers could trigger specific stellar events on demand, observing phenomena that normally occurred only once in millennia. This access to living stellar environments led to breakthroughs in quantum mechanics, gravitational wave studies, and dark matter research. The knowledge gained from these experiments cascaded into other fields, creating a virtuous cycle of discovery and innovation that seemed without end. Social structures evolved alongside technological capabilities. New professions emerged, requiring specialized skills in stellar management and cosmic engineering. Educational institutions adapted their curricula to include intensive training in stellar dynamics, astrophysical modeling, and quantum field theory. Careers in stellar control became highly coveted, attracting the brightest minds from across human space. The prestige associated with working directly with stars created a new class of technical aristocracy, whose members wielded considerable influence in both corporate and governmental spheres. Infrastructure expanded to accommodate the growing demands of stellar control operations. Orbital platforms grew larger and more sophisticated, housing not only technical equipment, but entire communities of specialists. Maintenance crews worked around the clock to service the vast arrays of energy collectors and containment fields that surrounded controlled stars. Supply chains stretched across light years to provide necessary materials and replacement parts, creating a web of interdependence that bound human civilization more tightly together than ever before. Yet beneath this veneer of progress, cracks began to appear in the foundations of stellar control. While official reports maintained high success rates and minimal complications, experienced operators whispered about increasing instances of unpredictability in stellar behavior. Some stars required progressively stronger control fields to maintain stability, while others demonstrated resistance to standard manipulation techniques. These concerns were largely ignored or explained away as growing pains in a still-evolving technology, but they represented fundamental questions about the nature of stellar consciousness and autonomy that science had yet to address adequately. The environmental impact of widespread stellar control also raised questions that many preferred to overlook. Natural stellar evolution processes were being artificially altered on scales that could potentially affect entire galaxies. The careful balance of elements produced by stars, the very building blocks of life and planetary formation, might be disrupted by human intervention. Astronomers noted subtle changes in galactic chemistry patterns, though definitive proof of harm remained elusive. The short-term benefits of stellar control proved too compelling for most to consider scaling back operations, even in the face of these mounting uncertainties. Despite these concerns, public enthusiasm for stellar engineering continued to grow. Media coverage celebrated each new achievement in stellar manipulation, from the creation of artificial binary systems to the successful synchronization of multiple stars for coordinated energy production. Popular culture embraced themes of human dominance over cosmic forces, with countless works of fiction exploring the possibilities and implications of stellar control. The narrative of human triumph over nature extended beyond planetary boundaries to encompass entire star systems, reinforcing the belief that technological prowess justified any level of intervention in natural processes. Government policies increasingly reflected this mindset, with legislation favoring expansion of stellar control initiatives. Subsidies encouraged private companies to develop new applications for stellar engineering, while regulatory frameworks struggled to keep pace with rapid technological advancement. Safety standards often lag behind operational capabilities, creating situations where experimental procedures were implemented before thorough testing could be completed. The pressure to maintain economic growth and technological superiority led to riskier ventures and more aggressive approaches to stellar manipulation, setting the stage for challenges that would soon test the limits of human control over cosmic forces. The first hints of trouble emerged subtly, almost imperceptibly, in the form of minor anomalies during routine stellar maintenance operations. In 2572, technicians monitoring Delta Pavonis reported unusual oscillations in the star's magnetic field that defied established models. These fluctuations appeared to be self-correcting patterns rather than random disturbances, a notion that sent ripples through the scientific community. Similar reports began trickling in from other controlled stars, each describing variations on the same theme. Stars exhibiting behaviors that seemed deliberately counteractive to control mechanisms. By 2585, these isolated incidents had coalesced into a pattern too significant to ignore. Stars under long-term management showed increasing resistance to standard control protocols, requiring progressively higher energy inputs to maintain stability. The phenomenon became known as stellar drift, characterized by gradual shifts in spectral output and unpredictable surges in radiation levels. Researchers scrambled to develop adaptive algorithms to compensate for these changes, but each solution seemed to trigger new, more complex responses from the affected stars. The implications of these developments divided the scientific establishment. Traditional astrophysicists maintained that the observed phenomena were simply manifestations of previously unknown physical properties of stars. However, a growing faction of researchers proposed a more radical hypothesis, that stars possessed some form of fundamental consciousness or inherent intelligence capable of perceiving and responding to human intervention. This theory gained traction as evidence mounted that certain stars exhibited behavior patterns remarkably similar to biological immune responses. The debate took on urgent significance as the economic impact of stellar instability became apparent. Entire sectors dependent on precise stellar control faced disruptions that threatened their viability. Agricultural colonies experienced unpredictable weather patterns as controlled stars failed to maintain consistent luminosity. Industrial facilities relying on scheduled solar flares found themselves either starved of energy or overwhelmed by unexpected bursts of radiation. Insurance rates for operations near controlled stars skyrocketed, creating financial pressure that rippled through interstellar markets. Despite mounting evidence of systematic issues, many institutions resisted acknowledging the scope of the problem. Corporate interests particularly pushed back against any suggestion of scaling back stellar control operations, citing the catastrophic economic consequences such actions would entail. Instead, they advocated for increased investment in more powerful control systems, arguing that technological advancement would eventually overcome whatever challenges the stars presented. Research teams working directly with affected stars began documenting increasingly sophisticated patterns of resistance. Some stars demonstrated what could only be described as learning behavior, adapting their responses to match upgraded control measures almost immediately after implementation. Others exhibited coordinated activity across multiple systems, suggesting some form of communication between stars, a possibility that challenged fundamental assumptions about stellar physics and cosmic awareness. As the scientific community grappled with these revelations, public awareness remained largely uninformed. Official statements downplayed concerns while emphasizing ongoing research efforts and temporary solutions. Behind closed doors, however, emergency meetings convened at the highest levels of government and corporate leadership, acknowledging the potential threat to human civilization itself. The question was no longer whether stars could resist human control, but rather how far this resistance might extend and what ultimate price humanity might pay for its ambition to master celestial forces. The year 2590 marked a turning point as stellar resistance transformed from manageable anomalies into full-blown crises threatening entire star systems. What began as isolated incidents of instability evolved into coordinated patterns of stellar rebellion spanning multiple sectors. The most dramatic event occurred in the Sirius system, where both components of the binary star system simultaneously rejected control protocols, unleashing unprecedented solar storms that devastated nearby colonies and forced mass evacuations. This incident triggered a chain reaction across human space. Other controlled stars began exhibiting similar synchronized behaviors, as if responding to some invisible signal transmitted through the fabric of spacetime. Scientists monitoring these events noted peculiar harmonics in stellar emissions that matched mathematical sequences never before observed in nature. These patterns suggested not just individual resistance, but a collective response mechanism operating on scales beyond human comprehension. The economic fallout proved catastrophic. Major corporations heavily invested in stellar engineering faced collapse as insurance providers refused to cover operations near affected stars. Trade routes disrupted by stellar instability led to shortages of essential materials and energy supplies. Colonies dependent on precisely calibrated sunlight struggled to maintain basic survival conditions. Governments implemented emergency measures, including rationing programs and mandatory relocation of populations from endangered systems. Research efforts intensified as the crisis deepened. Massive resources were poured into understanding the nature of stellar consciousness and developing new approaches to stellar interaction. Teams of physicists, biologists, and artificial intelligence specialists collaborated on groundbreaking studies attempting to bridge the gap between human technology and stellar cognition. They discovered that stars responded differently to organic versus synthetic control mechanisms, hinting at fundamental differences in how stellar entities perceived various forms of intelligence. Military organizations became involved as the situation worsened, deploying advanced monitoring systems and defensive arrays around critical infrastructure. The concept of stellar warfare entered strategic discussions, though most recognized the futility of conventional military approaches against forces of such magnitude. Instead, focus shifted toward developing non-aggressive methods of communication and negotiation with stars, though progress remained frustratingly slow. Public awareness reached fever pitch as media outlets broadcast images of devastated colonies and fleeing refugee ships. Conspiracy theories proliferated alongside genuine scientific discourse, creating a climate of fear and uncertainty. Some religious groups interpreted the stellar rebellion as divine punishment for human hubris, while others saw it as proof of ancient prophecies about cosmic awakening. The philosophical implications of sentient stars challenged long-held beliefs about humanity's place in the universe. Amidst this turmoil, pioneering researchers proposed a radical shift in approach. Rather than attempting to dominate stars through force, they advocated for developing symbiotic relationships based on mutual benefit and respect. This controversial idea faced fierce opposition from established power structures dependent on traditional methods of stellar control. Yet as conventional solutions continued to fail, more voices joined the call for fundamentally rethinking humanity's relationship with the stars. The crisis reached new heights when several major stars simultaneously initiated what scientists termed stellar lockdown. Complete cessation of all predictable behaviors accompanied by massive energy surges that overwhelmed existing control systems. These events forced immediate evacuation of entire sectors and prompted unprecedented cooperation between rival factions as survival became the primary concern. The realization dawned that humanity's future among the stars depended not on mastery, but on finding a way to coexist with forces whose true nature still eluded complete understanding. In the wake of escalating stellar rebellions, an international coalition of scientists formed the Stellar Harmony Initiative, dedicated to finding peaceful resolutions to the crisis. Breakthroughs in quantum linguistics revealed that stars communicated through gravitational waves and neutrino emissions, forming a cosmic network billions of years old. This discovery shifted humanity's approach from control to cooperation. The initiative developed the Resonance Protocol, a system designed to align with natural stellar rhythms. Instead of dominating stars, the protocol created harmonic frequencies that allowed for cooperative energy exchange. Initial trials showed promise, stabilizing several previously hostile stars. However, scaling this solution faced resistance from corporations and governments fearing economic collapse. Public opinion began to shift as news of the Resonance Protocol spread. Grassroots movements and cultural works celebrated cosmic coexistence, building support for the initiative. Yet, time was running out as more stars joined the rebellion, threatening human colonies across the galaxy. In 2612, Alpha Centauri A initiated the Great Dimming, reducing its luminosity by 40% and plunging nearby colonies into chaos. Conventional methods failed to restore its brightness, forcing authorities to deploy the Resonance Protocol on a large scale. Harmonic generators were deployed around the star, calibrated to match its natural frequencies. The operation succeeded, restoring balance and proving the protocol's viability. This victory marked a turning point, convincing skeptics to adopt the new approach. The success at Alpha Centauri became a blueprint for stabilizing other rebellious stars. With the Resonance Protocol validated, humanity embarked on a global effort to transition from control to coexistence. Massive resources were redirected to build harmonic networks around critical stars. Scientists worked tirelessly to refine the protocol, adapting it to different stellar types and behaviors. This shift sparked a cultural renaissance. Humanity began viewing stars not as resources, but as ancient entities deserving respect. Art, literature, and philosophy embraced themes of cosmic harmony, reshaping society's relationship with the universe. Economies adapted to the new reality. Industries once reliant on forced stellar manipulation found innovative ways to thrive within the limits of natural stellar cycles. The transition was challenging, but ultimately fostered resilience and creativity. The Stellar Rebellion taught humanity profound lessons about hubris and humility. Controlling stars had seemed like the pinnacle of achievement, but it masked the dangers of overreach. The crisis revealed the interconnectedness of cosmic systems and humanity's place within them. Governments established strict regulations to prevent future abuses of stellar engineering. Research focused on understanding rather than exploiting celestial phenomena. Ethical considerations became central to all scientific endeavors involving stars. The experience also strengthened unity among human civilizations. Facing a common threat had forged bonds across cultures and sectors, creating a shared commitment to responsible cosmic stewardship. Decades after the crisis, humanity thrived under the new paradigm of stellar coexistence. The Resonance Protocol became a cornerstone of interstellar society, ensuring sustainable interactions with stars. Colonies flourished under natural stellar cycles, proving that prosperity need not come at the cost of cosmic balance. Historians reflected on the era of stellar dominion as both a cautionary tale and a testament to human adaptability. The crisis had forced humanity to confront its limitations and embrace a deeper understanding of the universe. It served as a reminder that true progress lies not in domination, but in harmony. The story of humanity's journey from control to coexistence continues to inspire future generations. As explorers venture into uncharted star systems, they carry with them the lessons of the past, guided by the principle that the stars are not ours to command, but to cherish. The success of the Resonance Protocol sent shockwaves through human civilization, sparking changes far beyond stellar management. Entire industries restructured themselves around principles of sustainability and mutual benefit. Mining operations in asteroid belts adopted similar protocols to avoid disrupting local ecosystems, while terraforming projects integrated ecological preservation into their core designs. Scientific exploration expanded into new frontiers, driven by the realization that the universe was far more interconnected than previously understood. Researchers began detecting signs of similar networks among other cosmic phenomena, nebulae, black holes, and even rogue planets, all hinting at a grand, universal web of consciousness. This discovery fueled debates about whether humanity should attempt communication with these entities or observe them from a respectful distance. Cultural shifts mirrored the technological advancements. Education systems rewrote curricula to emphasize coexistence over conquest, teaching children about the delicate balance of cosmic forces. Artists drew inspiration from the newfound harmony between humans and stars, creating works that celebrated the beauty of collaboration across species and scales. Yet challenges remained. Not all factions embraced the new paradigm. Some corporate interests continued covert attempts to exploit stars, believing they could circumvent the Resonance Protocol for profit. These rogue operations occasionally triggered localized stellar disturbances, serving as reminders of the fragility of the new equilibrium. To safeguard the fragile peace achieved through the Resonance Protocol, an interstellar organization known as the Stellar Concord was established. Composed of scientists, ethicists, and diplomats, the Concord acted as both protector and mediator between human civilization and the stars. Its agents patrolled controlled sectors, monitoring for compliance and addressing any emerging conflicts before they escalated. Equipped with advanced detection systems and diplomatic tools, the Concord's teams became experts at interpreting subtle signals from stars. They learned to identify early warning signs of dissatisfaction or distress, allowing them to intervene proactively rather than reactively. This role transformed them into ambassadors of sorts, bridging the gap between human ambition and cosmic patience. The Concord also played a crucial role in mediating disputes among human factions. When corporations clashed over access to certain stars or accused competitors of violating protocols, the Concord stepped in to ensure fairness and adherence to shared principles. Over time, it evolved into a symbol of unity, transcending political and economic divides. Training programs for Concord members emphasized empathy and humility, qualities deemed essential for navigating relationships with entities vastly older and more powerful than humanity. Graduates emerged not just as technicians or negotiators, but as philosophers attuned to the rhythms of the cosmos. As humanity deepened its understanding of stellar consciousness, researchers uncovered evidence suggesting that ancient civilizations might have possessed similar knowledge. Archaeological digs on long-abandoned worlds revealed artifacts depicting rituals and technologies seemingly designed to honor or communicate with stars. Texts written in dead languages spoke of cosmic elders who guided younger species toward enlightenment. These findings resonated deeply with contemporary efforts to coexist with stars. Scholars speculated that earlier civilizations may have faced crises akin to humanity's, learning hard lessons about respecting cosmic boundaries. Some even proposed that surviving remnants of those societies might still exist, hidden within the vastness of space, observing humanity's progress, or lack thereof. The discovery of ancient wisdom prompted a renewed interest in exploring uncharted regions of the galaxy. Expeditions ventured into areas previously deemed too dangerous or remote, seeking traces of these lost cultures. Along the way, they encountered phenomena that defied explanation, further reinforcing the idea that the universe held secrets far beyond human comprehension. This connection to the past inspired a sense of continuity and responsibility. Humanity began seeing itself not as pioneers, but as inheritors of a legacy stretching back eons. A chain of custodians tasked with preserving cosmic harmony for future generations. Despite the successes of the Resonance Protocol, maintaining harmony required constant vigilance. Stars were not static entities. Their behavior evolved over millennia, influenced by factors humanity barely understood. What worked today might fail tomorrow, necessitating continuous adaptation and innovation. Occasionally, unforeseen events tested the limits of the protocol. Supernovae in neighboring systems sometimes disrupted harmonic networks, requiring emergency recalibrations. Rogue stars entering human-controlled territories introduced unpredictable variables, forcing researchers to develop contingency plans for every conceivable scenario. These challenges highlighted the precariousness of humanity's position. While the Resonance Protocol had averted catastrophe, it was not a permanent solution. Each success came with the implicit understanding that failure always loomed on the horizon, waiting for the slightest misstep. This awareness fostered a culture of humility and caution. Leaders tempered their ambitions with prudence, recognizing that pushing too far too fast risked undoing decades of progress. Scientists approach their work with reverence, treating each star as a living entity deserving care and respect. As humanity mastered coexistence with stars, attention turned to other cosmic mysteries. Could the same principles applied to stars be extended to black holes, pulsars, or entire galaxies? Early experiments hinted at possibilities, but also underscored the complexity of such endeavors. Research teams embarked on ambitious projects to map the broader cosmic network, hoping to uncover patterns that could guide future interactions. They theorized that stars might serve as nodes in a galactic internet of sorts, facilitating communication across unimaginable distances. If true, humanity stood on the brink of participating in conversations spanning billions of light years. These aspirations carried risks. Engaging with larger, more enigmatic phenomena demanded unprecedented levels of caution. One misstep could destabilize entire regions of space, triggering cascading effects that might take centuries to resolve. Yet the potential rewards, knowledge, insight, perhaps even alliances with other intelligent species, were too compelling to ignore. The pursuit of these goals united humanity in ways never before seen. Nations set aside differences to collaborate on shared visions of exploration and discovery. The dream of becoming full participants in the cosmic community burned brighter than ever. Humanity's journey from dominion to harmony marked a pivotal chapter in its evolution. No longer content to conquer, it sought instead to understand, to learn, and to grow alongside the universe. The stars, once viewed as resources to exploit, now stood as partners in a grand, unfolding narrative. Looking ahead, the possibilities seemed limitless. Advances in technology promised deeper insights into the nature of existence itself. Philosophers pondered whether humanity might one day achieve a form of cosmic citizenship, recognized by the very stars it once sought to control. Yet amidst the optimism lingered a sobering truth. The universe would always hold mysteries beyond human grasp. Accepting this reality became a source of strength rather than fear, reminding humanity of its place within a vast, intricate tapestry. The story of stellar dominion serves as both a warning and an inspiration, a testament to the power of humility and the boundless potential of cooperation. As humanity continues its journey among the stars, let us remember the lessons of the past and strive always to walk hand in hand with the cosmos. Subscribe now to join us on this epic voyage through the stars, where every discovery brings both wonder and wisdom.